During the month of July, Frugal Living Northwest has been working with VTech and the Motherhood to encourage kids to read over the summer. So this morning, my kids and I went to our community library's story time, which is actually at our church because our city no longer has access to a public library. And I asked a bunch of my friends what they do to encourage their kids to read over their summer. And so you're going to see their responses. And at the very end, we have a special treat because my good friend Amy Kendall was at Storytime. And as many of you know, her daughter back in May was hit by an SUV outside their home. And I asked many of you to pray. Those of you who believe in a God who can do miracles. And I thought this would be an appropriate update. Amy's daughter, Joy, who is just turned 11, is having a miraculous recovery. There's no other way to say it. She is going to come home from rehab at Emmanuel Hospital in about a week. And 1 week. Come here. And at the end of this video, Amy's going to share some information that she received from one of her therapists.
So every afternoon I say it's reading rest time, and I send them to their rooms, books in their beds, and they fall asleep looking through the pages or reading, and I get a rest.
Good. How do you encourage Phoebe to read?
We take Phoebe to the public library once a week and let her pick out whatever book she wants, a whole stack to bring home, and then we also bring her to the church library once a week, and she gets to pick out whatever book she would like to bring home, and we read in the morning and at rest time and before bed at night.
Okay, and this is my friend Amy, and she has older kids, so this is going to be good.
So
How do you get your kids to read?
my kids don't enjoy reading on their own. So last summer I paid them $1 a book, and it had to be substantial. This summer, sometimes if they're complaining about they're bored, I say, okay, we're having deer time, which means drop everything and read for 30 minutes. Sometimes they'll do it. Sometimes they'd rather go outside and ride their bike.
Encourage your little ones to read.
I use a lot of animated voices and try to make the stories fun and scary at times. And then my child does not go to bed at all. I send her to sleep about 7:30 or 8, and then she'll sit there for 3 hours. And so I say, just read. And so she'll read.
Kids love to stay up late in the summertime, and so what we do is we put them to bed at kind of a normal-ish time, and we say that they're allowed to stay up for an extra hour, but they have to stay in their room and read, and that motivates them because they think it's really cool that they're up till 10. So that's what we do.
Every night we gather in bed and pick 3 to 4 books, and we read them. And they have tons of fun and look forward to bedtime, story time at least. Maybe not the same.
This is our librarian, Mrs. Dennis, and so what should we be doing as moms to encourage our kids to read over the summer?
I think the first thing parents always need to do is model reading, and so parents need to make sure that they're reading too, and then to spend time each day with their kids reading. And you could always pick a time, like bedtime is always excellent to read with your kids. But just so that you're spending time reading with them, take them to the library so they can choose books. Because when they choose them, they really want to read them. So those are just the main things I would say.
So a great reason for kids to read, and I'm going to learn from this experience, is one of Joy's speech therapists showed us a picture of how the neurons fire in the brain during different activities. So it shows like TV watching, and there's like a little bit firing, and then like reading to self, and there's more neurons firing, but by far the neurons were activated the most when you read out loud to one another. Why? I don't know, but it seems like a great way to develop their brains.
So